Hi everyone, welcome to Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. I'm Thane Lyman, the executive producer for the project, and today I'll be taking you through character creation and experience point gain, and show you how feats work in the game as well as get into some of the dialogues. So at the heart of every great RPG is the player's character, choosing, building, and growing your character through the course of the game. So we'll start with character creation. First step in the character creation process is choosing a clan and gender, and optionally a history. In White Wolf's vampire universe, the clans correspond to the traditional archetypes of vampire mythology. So our 7 clan choices include the Brujah, savage brawler, the Gangrel, or feral and animalistic, the Nosferatu, skulking and deformed, the Toreador, or the Anne Rice-style seductive and charming pretty boys, the secretive blood sorcerers known as the Tremere, the manipulative and mind-controlling Ventru, and finally the Malkavians, who have been driven insane by the power of their vampire blood. To reflect this insanity, the Malkavians even have their own distinct set of dialogues and dialogue responses. We'll show you those in a later demo. The vampire choice of clan has a deep impact in Vampire, from statistical benefits and weaknesses to vampiric powers or disciplines available to the player, to in-game effects such as different dialogue options and different reactions from NPCs in the game. The player can also choose to play either as male or female, giving them 14 base choices to start from. That's even before allocating experience points or base starting skills. Though there's no statistical difference between male or female, gender will have impact in-game in terms of dialogues and NPC reactions. There are also a number of histories to choose from to allow you to further customize your character if you wish. Some are clan-specific, and others are options across clans. So there's a lot of replayability and variety in the game just based on character selection. For the purposes of this demo, we're going to focus most of our attention on one character, so you can see the RPG experience of being and leveling up an individual character. For now, we're going to play as the Blood Sorcerer Tremere. Having selected our clan and gender, the next step is to allocate our stats. This is the character stat sheet, which White Wolf fans will see we've pulled pretty faithfully from the paper and pencil Vampire the Masquerade RPG system. While we'll have a default template for each clan, so players aren't required to do all of this themselves, more advanced RPG players can choose to change their initial stat allocation to suit their tastes within the game rules. In keeping with the White Wolf rules, different clans get more or less starting points in 3 sets of attributes: physical, social, and mental attributes, and 3 sets of abilities, divided into talents, skills, and knowledges. As a Tremere, we get a lot of points in mental, and few in social for attributes, and a lot in knowledges, but very few in skills for abilities. So as you can see from looking at the feats column on the right, our Tremere is good at hacking and melee combat, but not as good at shooting firearms, which is ranged combat, or at lockpicking. Lastly, the Tremere has 3 disciplines available: Auspex, which is vampiric supersight, Dominate, which is the ability to bend mortals to your will, and Thaumaturgy, which is blood sorcery. Now lastly, we'll need a name for our Tremere. I'd like to go with something that conveys our true majesty and power, something that reminds me of just how far removed I am from the rest of humanity now. We'll go with Bob. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Bob the Tremere. Alright, now we'll hit accept for Bob, and we'll move into the world. At the beginning of the game, you play as a newly sired fledgling vampire who's been given a task by the Vampire Prince of Los Angeles. As you progress through the game, you'll run into several different opposing factions, and be able to make your own choices about which ones you want to ally yourself with or betray. And down the road, these actions will help determine which of the multiple game endings you experience. But for now, the Prince has given you a simple ultimatum of doing his bidding or being baked in the sun. In RPG terms, he's given us a quest. And in traditional RPG manner, we've given the player a quest log system to keep track of this and any other quests they receive. This is the quest log. As we see, the Prince has told us we have to take care of a Sabbat threat. That's a group of vampires opposed to the Prince's rule of the city. He's also told us to track down somebody named Venus to get info on the threat. She's at a club in downtown LA. And we found out that she may have more info on it in her computer, and that she may not want to give us all the information herself. So here we are in downtown Los Angeles, one of our 4 hubs in the game. This is the first look anyone's had at the Los Angeles hub. And if you saw it at E3 last year, you'd seen the Hollywood hub. Los Angeles is another example of the cool visuals we're able to pack onto the screen using Valve's Source technology. We're able to create a city full of skyscrapers and compete on a visual quality standpoint with any games out there, so we're able to take RPGs out of their traditional graphical limitations. You can see we're headed into Confession. This is a nightclub in a converted church where the Prince had told us we could find Venus, and probably her computer. I'm guessing we might find her computer in the front office area. So let's try to lockpick this door, which we can do by pressing one context-sensitive use key. Well, no dice. Doesn't look like Bob's lockpick skill is up to the task. We'll have to come back to this. Maybe we can find a key somewhere, convince somebody to let us in, or put some experience into the skill when we get some experience. For now, let's go see if we can find and talk to Venus.
Hello, love. You don't look like the regular sort of clientele we get here at Club Confession, although I'm pretty sure that you've got plenty of sins to confess. Your kind is never without its share of dirty, dark little secrets.
One of the things that Troika is very well known for is their great dialogue system. Provided deep RPG dialogue with lots of different possible responses and a dialogue system that responds to you and who you are. Now I've got a number of options to choose from here with Venus, but for now I'm going to be pretty direct because I need my information. So we'll choose the first option.
You are direct, aren't you? A boy after my own heart. Or various other parts of my body. Unfortunately, my, benefactor isn't exactly tolerant of loose lips, so, for now at least, I must keep mine closed.
At the second dialogue screen, there's a line in blue. This shows us a persuasion line. This is one of the feats that we can use in dialogues. As my persuasion skill is high enough, I've got the ability to say something different to Venus that I wouldn't otherwise have.
Oh, well, he does seem to know just about everyone in LA, undead or not. I suppose you and I can have a little chat, but this is just between us, understand?
Of course, Venus.
I don't know much, but I have heard people talking about a problem with unsavory sorts crawling around in the sewers beneath downtown. A few of my master's acquaintances went down to investigate and didn't come home to feed the cat.
The indicators that popped up during the conversation have just let me know that my quest log has been updated and that I've gained some experience. We'll talk about that in a minute. For now, it sounds like these guys might be pretty tough, so I'm going to ask Venus if she knows how to find some weaponry to help me out.
The man you want to find is Fat Larry. He's usually in some back alley or another, working out of the back of his truck. He's a bloody riot, and he's got the sort of toys you have in mind.
Great, we'll go and talk to the man.
You do that, darling. And please, for my sake, Let's not let it get out that Venus has a problem keeping her secrets, all right? I don't particularly want to wake up dead. At least not yet.
Now here I've got a number of choices. I could be mean to Venus and maybe try to blackmail her, but I may want to get information out of her later on as well, so for the time being I'm going to be nice to her.
No problem, love. If you need anything else, I'll be here amongst the shadows, worshipping with the rest of the Midnight Tribe. Take care.
So back to those indicators that had popped up during the conversation. We've gained some experience, and this will give us a chance to show off another aspect of the traditional RPG underlying the action, which is leveling up the character. You'll see the quest log update and experience gain indicator come up a number of times in the demo. We award experience for progressing along quests, rather than for combat, so the game really allows you to play how you want. It's not always go stealthy and then go back and kill everybody anyway for the XP. Here's my experience available, down in the right-hand corner. I think we'll pop some of this experience into our lockpicking feat. If we flash over the lockpicking feat, we see that our dexterity and security, which are highlighted, make up lockpicking. We'll pump up our security. Alright, now let's go see if that's enough to get in that door from earlier. Success! And there's the computer. Now this will give us a chance to show off our elite hacksaw skills. You'll remember we made Bob pretty good at hacking. When we use the computer, the text at the bottom of the screen tells us to hit Control-C if we want to hack it, so we'll do that now. So we've gained access to her files, and gained some more experience and completed a quest. Now reading some of these files, we can see that the Sabbat have taken over an old Chinese theater and have placed a gargoyle to guard it. And also that the gargoyle seems to be nearly impervious to firearms, so we're probably going to have to find a blunt weapon. Well, there's going to be more than we bargained for in this Sabbat encounter, given that there's a gargoyle around. If we're going to fight him, he's going to be tough. So we'd better go see if we can track down some weapons and better armor than this swank red shirt that I've got on. This concludes part 1 of our Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines demo.